What's up, guys, and thank you for joining us for yet another Blitz Brawl. Apologies that we had a week off, but there's logistical issues, shall we say. We'll leave it at that. But we're back for some more brawling, some more blitzing, and some more Legacies Allure. With me, as always, is the rather fine Mr. Robo. How are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing really well today. We've been really working hard on the production end. Everything is set up for our early August delivery. Everything's officially off to the printer, and the cards are going to be beautiful and in your hand this year. But before then, we can still all enjoy the game on Tabletop Simulator, and that's what we're doing today.
We can indeed. We can indeed. And you're not the only one excited for the release in August. Tristan was pretty excited over on Twitter. If you want to go, check out Party and Tristan, then the link to Twitter is down below. Also, I've been requested several times now to say who I am, because I always introduce you, but I never say who I am. So I'm Woody, or What's Up Woody, in the Discord. If you're wondering who on earth is this stranger who just speaks to me every Thursday about Blitz and about brawling and about Legacies Law. But anyway, enough of me, enough of Mr. Robo. I think it's time to showcase some wonderful Legacies Law. Who have you got playing for us today, Mr. Robo?
We have Laro and Dex, two veterans of this video series and experienced Legacies Allure players, especially in the Brawl Blitz format and the Blitz Brawl video format.
Yep.
So I'm very excited to see them square off on this fine spring day.
Indeed, indeed. So, enough of us. I think it's time to head over to the battlefield and let battle commence. Okay, so we are into the, when I say drafting phase, what I mean by the blitz is the placement phase. We're into the placement phase, and we have Laro over on the blue playing Anwyn, and we have Dex repping the wonderful, Dex is repping the Anwyn in green, I should say. And Laro is repping the Aurelia in blue.
Don't worry, Woody. I get those names crossed in my brain and tongue all the time. They are two beautiful heroes with A names that are both spellcasters, and it looks like we are going to be seeing some of that action going on today. Laro busting out a more aggressive battle mage style package for his Aurelia with the Worm Scale Mail and the Sun's Fervor. We're going to see her charging straight in. Anwyn, as usual, is going to be hanging back a little bit. The only thing Dex has brought for his hero is the Arcane Stone for mana regen and Nature's Bosom for healing and shielding on his units. And this is always really cool to see. I love seeing two drastically different hero builds square off with a heavier hero on Laro, the blue player's side, and a lighter hero on Dex, the red player's side.
Yeah, definitely, because well, as we know, both players have 80 gold, right, to invest into their kingdoms. So Dex taking the option to invest that more into units and cards to actually represent on the battlefield, whereas Laro is taking a bit more in investment into the hero, making the hero more valuable, but potentially also stronger at the same time. There's no right or wrong way of doing it in Legacy's Law. It's just your way of doing it, right?
Exactly. I've seen so many different strategies pull off wins. The other day I was playing 5 Black Dragons with no gold on my hero, and it was working out okay for me. Won about half the time. But enough about me, and going back into what these players are playing, I'm seeing a very direct win condition on Laro's side. With that blue player's battering ram, looks like Laro's going to be going straight for that center, knocking away the squishier Sylvan units, possibly taking them off the battlefield instantly. And looks like Laro's strategy is capture that center and hold it down, using Tempest Mages, Heavy Knights, and his Aurelia to sort of play keep away with the rest of Dex's units. Dex looking like his win condition is going to be built around the Ursa Major and the Ursa Minor. These cards have the Roar ability, and why that's so good is that he can use Roar to move enemy pieces away, including away from the center. So what I'm thinking is that Dex is going to be playing more of a defensive game, and then trying to capture center near the late game.
Nice.
which, as you all probably know, capturing center is how you win Legacy's Allure.
Indeed. Indeed it is. And I quickly want to talk about Battering Ram because it's a card I don't think we've seen yet on either video series. It's a card you don't get to see tons because people will be looking at this and saying, well, it has no attack. Where's its attack power? But the card reads that it has Armor 2 as a passive. This unit cannot be moved by any effects, so Raw won't work on Battering Ram. However, the Ram ability has deal 5 physical damage to target adjacent unit, push it and all chained units back 1 hex. Battering Ram may move into that hex. So basically, it is literally a ram. It's moving units back, and any unit that is like chained to that unit gets pushed back as well. The 5 damage, physical damage, only goes to the direct unit in front of it, right? It doesn't chain down the line, but all the other units do get moved.
Oh my goodness. I just saw what Laro drafted. This could be very scary for our friend Dex. High Priest is a phenomenal card to use in tandem with Battering Ram.
Yep.
Because High Priest can remove a debuff from Battering Ram and heal it too at the same time.
Yep.
And especially against Sylvan, debuffing is how you deal with Battering Ram. There are certain abilities that will break Battering Ram, like Norfane High Sorcerer. And what break means is that Battering Ram loses all of its keywords. So that means the armor's gone, and that means that Sylvan can then start dealing damage to it. But if High Priest comes in and removes that debuff while healing Battering Ram, that could spell disaster for Dex. I think Dex's core strategy here is he's going to need to use these Gladehawks to move up and flank Laro and capture that High Priest early before he can start dealing with the Battering Ram.
Yes, yeah. So it's almost, as you said, looking at Laro's, it's a little bit more linear, right? Very much a case of that, a lot of investment into that Battering Ram. Now, that's not the only win condition. As you said, Aurelia herself has got a lot of gold spent on her to keep her alive and make her a pretty strong, powerful unit to deal damage with the short sword to give +1 power, and as you said, the worm scale that gives armor and +1 health. So Battering Ram isn't the be-all and end-all of Laro, but combine that, like you said, with a High Priest, or even just a Priest, the sustain that card can give, or that unit can give, is going to be scary for Dex.
I could not agree more. I think that the #1 card Dex has to look at and think about and come up with some way to deal with during this positioning phase is going to be that Battering Ram. Those 2 Tempest Mages, they are not chumps either. They are incredibly good units for 4 gold. Being able to exhaust a unit means that that unit won't be able to act during this round. You just take an action away from your opponent. And as people who have watched this Blitz Brawl series before will know, action economy is very important in this game. Budgeting what your units do and when is one of the key tenets of this game.
Indeed, indeed. And also, not to shrug off the lightning strike, for 2 magic damage to a target unit. Sylvan doesn't have tons of like high health enemies. So a lot of the units, you look at the Norfang Hunters, for example, can just be removed. And like you said, trying to flank with the Gladehawks. Well, the Gladehawks, if they get into range of those mages, well then they can get removed by that as well. So that carries as much weight as the exhaust, obviously depending on the situation.
You could not be more correct, my friend. Those Tempest Mages definitely are going to be putting in work this game, as they always do. I know I said it last time we saw Tempest Mages, and I was right then, and I feel like I'm right now. These things are going to be threats. Now, one thing that I bet Dex is kind of kicking himself about is Sylvan has a lot of cards with the spell-proof ability available in their faction, and this means that they would not be able to be affected by Tempest Mage or Battering Ram's pushing ability. Unfortunately, the only spell-proof unit Dex has is that Deepwood Enchantress, and she just can't really get into the fray. She's going to be hanging back and throwing around debuffs and mind control effects instead. Not the most helpful card in this situation.
But then I suppose this is where the difference becomes between a Blitz build, right, and a draft build. Because in the draft decks would have that variety, that option of adding in spell shields, spell proofs in there. So yeah, it'll be very interesting, like I said, how they deal with this. Now, a quick question, asking you because I'm genuinely interested in how this works. How does Taunting Satyr work with Battering Ram? Because Battering Ram doesn't have an attack. Can it still work on Battering Ram?
That is an excellent question, Woody. Thank you for bringing that up. And the answer is no. Taunting Satyr will not work on Battering Ram. Something that's really cool about this game is that you can always check the back of a card if you have any questions. And the back of this card says that all normal rules of combat apply. So, since Battering Ram can't normally attack, Taunting Satyr cannot force it to attack, as that would be violating the normal rules of combat.
Yep, there you go. So I just wanted clarification on that there as well.
Yep.
So yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting game coming up here. The Ultra Knight is terrifying. Oh, yep.
Oh my gosh, our favorite card just got played, Squire. Squire's on the board.
There we go. I mean, not to be biased towards Laro, but he has just drafted the best card in the game. So Dex has got an uphill battle now. I'm just going to say it.
Yep, no, this is already over. Squire's on the board. But anyway, I cut off your Ultra Knight analysis. Please continue. It's genuinely more important.
I was just going to say, like, we've given so much hype and so much talk around, oh, the Battering Ram is so strong, the Mages are so strong, the High Priest is so strong, hey, Aurelia is heavily invested into it. Like, one of the best cards, straight up, one of the best cards in the game is also on the board, the Ultra Knight as well. So this is going to be a really tough game. Like, I wouldn't want to be playing Sylvan in this situation. Not to write off Dex's chances. Dex is a far better player than I am. But if I was looking down at this lineup, I would be quite literally quaking in my boots.
Yeah, this is very scary for Dex, the Sylvan player right now. Okay, and here we are going into the first turn. Shield Bearer moving up and protecting the High Priest. That is a super good move from Laro, as that one shield is going to protect the High Priest from the Gladehawks.
Yep. Yeah, meaning that effectively he need to spend 2 Gladehawks, right, to get into it.
That's right. So if I was Dex at this point, if I was playing Sylvan and I had these Gladehawks, what I would be looking to do is to use them to take out the Priest and the Tactician at this point. Or at the very least threaten those cards. Because then it's going to force Laro to use his Shield Bearers on his backline units and not his frontline units. Meaning that his frontline units are going to be weaker and I can pick them off easier.
Yeah. Sorry, I had a card weird position on my screen. Hopefully I didn't mess up on their end. I moved it, but I don't know how that affects their end.
It should be completely fine. This is a pro tip for anybody watching. Tabletop Simulator is notoriously a little bit janky. So if you ever see any visual problems with a card in a strange position, just go ahead and tap on it, left click real quick, and that will snap it back to the position that it is supposed to be.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. So yeah, the shield on the Priest, as you're saying, is really important because those Gladehawks, like 4 movement is insane on those things, and they can easily pick off, easily make chump meat of those Priests and High Priests. So yeah, putting 2 hit points on that effectively, or making it 2 hit points, is a really nice play by Laro to open up and get that security.
Yep. I also really like the position of Taunting Satyr on Dex's side. I think that's a smart spot. A lot of people are going to look at that and think, oh, it's off to the side, it can't really do a whole lot. But what it's doing is it's protecting the flank. So if Laro wants to move in Aurelia or his Ultra Knight to try and take out the Deepwood Enchantress or the Tethir Bowmaster or even Anwyn eventually, they're going to have to move in from that side, and Taunting Satyr at the start of round 2 can then force that unit to attack and exhaust,
yep,
which protects his cards and protects his backline and protects that flank. Because with Battering Ram and just a Halberdier on the other side, that is the side of Laro's army that isn't going to be really moving forward, isn't going to be trying for the backline. it's the Aurelia and Ultra Knight he has to watch out for, and that's why Taunting Satyr is on the I2 Hex.
Yep.
A really smart positioning there, which is something I forgot to mention during the positioning phase. Laro just going ahead and pushing up his units a little bit by 1 row. This is generally just like a classic, solid strategy in Legacy's Allure. When you don't really know what else to do and your opponent's playing defensively, one way that you can sort of force your opponent out of their shell is by moving your pieces up 1 hex at a time. This gets you closer to center and closer to your win condition without really breaking formation. Think of it like setting up a pawn formation in chess. If you move them up 1 at a time, they're protecting each other on the diagonal, and the concept is exactly the same in this game.
Yep. Does that also play into the battering ram? The fact that battering ram only has 1 movement, so you're not kind of pushing everything up and then leaving it out there like the poor kid that's been left at school and parents haven't come to pick them up. Like, is it to make sure that that doesn't happen to the battering ram as well?
That's definitely part of it. It depends a lot on what strategies are being executed with battering ram. If Laro was bringing a more knight-centric build, he could rush his knights in and have battering ram left behind in the back and just slowly move it up to take center.
Yeah. Yeah. Trundle
my apologies.
Trundle its way forwards, up to center, because that thing is seriously chunky. Now, obviously, no retaliation damage comes off the battering ram, but 8 health and 2 armor. 2 armor on top of the 8 health is huge. That thing is quite literally a ram. So it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
And the thing about the 2 armor, one thing that I think is really interesting is that a lot of units in this game that can move in quickly and do have charging and do have high movement and charging deal physical damage. And this is a really cool balancing thing that Keith did when designing out these cards and designing out the game. Is the reason why battering ram is so slow and has 2 armor and it works is because it's hard to run in and get that magic damage on it. Yeah. And that's something that I really like and I really think is beautiful. So if you want to rush that battering ram early, you're going to have a hard time because of the armor. Everything that you have that can rush generally is going to be dealing physical damage and not magic.
Yeah. Yeah. Indeed. So we see the guys here. Well, we saw this last time on the last Blitz Brawl. A very kind of tentative start. Laro very much taking his time and mapping out the plays, thinking about the plays, seeing where's best to go here. We saw last time that it was an absolute grueling slugfest that really saw the players kind of taking the clocks to the wire. So using Tactician to give the Aurelia +1 movement.
Oh, that's threatening the Tethir Bowmaster.
It is, which is a 14 gold unit sat down on Dex's side.
Oh no. Well, I think there is a solution to this. Deepwood Enchantress could use Untouchable on the hex that Tethir Bowmaster is on. This would make it so that enemy units cannot move into that hex, and in order to perform a charging melee attack, Aurelia has to move into the hex. That would keep Bowmaster safe from any physical strikes from Aurelia.
Yep. Indeed, yeah. So it's it makes the like I said, it gives a nice bit of protection, shall we say. It also, I've seen the Deepwood Enchantress use it to really I'm going to use the term troll enemies, where they kind of put it down in a random hex, and then enemies just have to go around that hex. It's just an absolute pain.
Oh, Enchantress is so much fun to play. She is a blast to use. There's so many cheesy things you can do with her. There was this one time when I was playing against Enchantress, and I had a unit with Trample. And Trample's an ability that when I move over an enemy card, I deal damage to it. And I clustered all of my forces in this tight bundle. And then Deepwood Enchantress beguiled my Trample unit and killed my entire army. I was mad, but it was also funny.
The joys of
yep.
The joys of it. I'm assuming the Trample you're talking about is a card that we've not yet seen in the game.
We have not yet seen it. I'm hoping we'll be able to see it soon. It's called Ironhoof Minotaur in Gath. And if you want to check out any of the cards and all the cards in Legacy's Allure, go over to legaciesallure.com and check out the Kingdom Builder and build yourself a deck today. Squire taking
Yes!
it! There we go, boys!
We want another promotion. We want another promotion. We all know Ultra Knight was Squire 2 weeks ago. They're now Ultra Knight. This Squire now wants to be another Ultra Knight. They want to keep. It's like Neo in the Matrix. You know when he born in that pod. This is it. This is the Neo in Matrix 1 pod, and then the Ultra Knight is Neo in Matrix 3. We won't mention the fourth one, but this is Neo in Matrix 3. That's the best analogy I can give to people. But no, we can see here.
Absolutely.
So why would Laro then throw the Squire? Obviously, we know it's the best card in the game, but why would Laro throw Squire into mid to take that shield when Squire has a lower amount of hit points, say, than other units?
So, here's what I'm thinking is going on. With Squire taking the shield, it ensures that Dex won't get it. So that's the first advantage. The second advantage is Squire's allied pathing let him move in and comfortably take that middle despite being blocked in. So it lets Laro develop a piece without breaking his frontline formation, right? Because Battering Ram, Ultra Knight, Tempest Mage, and Aurelia are still all able to threaten any cards that Dex might use to take that Squire and capture center back.
Yep. So that was going to be my next question is, was Squire being dangled out there as a piece of bait? As kind of, hey,
I think so.
Come and take this. I've taken the shield. You can take my 2 gold unit, but know that there are threats breathing down your neck should you choose to do so. We see
I think this may have been a mistake. Look at Battering Ram's position. If he pushes this entire line forward, Northgate Sorcerer gets knocked off the map and is instantly KO'd.
Yeah. Yeah, so Ultra Knight can now, because Battering Ram can move forward, right? And doesn't have to be an enemy, right? Is that correct?
That's correct. It does not have to be an enemy.
But Battering Ram would kill the Ultra Knight, because it's deal 5 physical damage to target adjacent unit, right? So...
Well, that might not necessarily be the case. He still has a priest and a high priest.
True.
If he sneakily heals his Ultra Knight first, and never mind, Dex saw it, he's moving the sorcerer out of the way.
Okay.
Everything is fine.
Yeah. There was a moment where we thought, ooh, this could get tasty. But as you saw, there's a reason that Dex is playing this game and I'm not playing it. He saw that move and he managed to get out there.
Exactly. Dex, he's playing like that Star Trek 5-dimensional chess with multiverse travel. You know, that's where he's at, and I'm just over here playing regular boy chess on the high school varsity team.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with the high school varsity chess team, I'm pretty sure. And we see
absolutely.
The third shield bearer coming up and now giving the Ultra Knight another shield. So the Ultra Knight is obviously still no healing on it yet, but still having a shield and the armor is it's a terrifying unit. It gives me nightmares.
That's Ultra Knight's going to be very scary. I'm excited to see how Dex plans to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean,
he could backstab with Norfang Great Hunter, but I don't know. At this point, Dex really needs these priests to get exhausted.
Yeah, get exhausted, and because we can see 2 Gladehawks out nice and wide, but we can also see 2 shields on those priests, which can really shut down. And there we see the High Priest coming in and bringing that terrifying unit of the Ultra Knight back to full health with a shield on it, which is going to be, like you said, very, very tricky for Dex to deal with. Has the likes of Wisp to try and break the unit, which can possibly help as well, same as the Northfang Sorcerer. But it's all about positioning. It's all about setting up for that big burst play. And now we see Squire, still the best card in the game, despite being the first card removed from the game, being taken out by the Ursa Miner. And Ursa Miner, they're coming in and saying, hey, you know what? I'm taking a Hex. I'd send a Hex. I don't need a shield. I'm just going to enjoy this point and enjoy this spot as I am.
Yep, absolutely. Predictable play from Dex, but a solid play nonetheless. Ursa Miner, 6 hit points, very durable card. It can even take a battering from that Ultra Knight and keep on kicking.
So is
So
the
I
battering
think
ram
that
out of the game at the moment? Because I'm pretty sure Laro's not going to want to take out his own mage just to bring it through. He's not going to want to do the Ultra Knight for no reason to not push a card off of the board either. And it only has one movement. So at the moment, is it kind of out the game a little bit?
In some senses, yes. But what the battering ram is doing that's important right now is it is guarding these Tempest Mages. If you take a look at Dex's board, he's still got a Great Hunter that is threatening the Tempest Mage, right? So while battering ram is active, that Tempest Mage can't be taken by the Northane Great Hunter. Because otherwise, the Northane Great Hunter will get rammed, and then the Gladehawk will get pushed off the board as well.
Yeah.
But here we go. We're going to break.
Wisp coming in.
Oh my gosh, that is a dead Ultra Knight.
So the
break removes the armor, so that means that it takes full damage, as armor normally reduces physical damage by 1. 3 from the Great Hunter and 4 from the Ursa Major. That Ultra Knight is toast, and there's going to be no retaliation damage because Great Hunter has backstab, which means the unit it attacks cannot retaliate.
Yep.
This is huge for Dex. He found a way.
He found a way to get rid of that Ultra Knight. We said, didn't we, at the beginning, that wow, the Ultra Knight was something that had to be dealt with. Now we see the battering ram coming into play, and and removing the Ursa Major, which I'm pretty sure Dex will take, right? Because he got rid of an Ultra Knight, a 15 gold unit, to do so. And now, what's key to note about this interaction here, in case you're wondering, is the battering ram isn't an attack. So it says there that battering ram may move into that unit starting hex. So despite killing the major, it didn't choose to move forward, right? It doesn't have to.
Exactly. And now that we're in round 2, as our longtime viewers will know, this is where things pick up, right? Round 1 is normally that setup round, that feeling each other out round, and then round 2 is when cards start hitting the board. They've been going so fast, we've barely been able to keep up. Just one piece after another going down. Aurelia taking the Taunting Satyr so that it doesn't steal an action. Gladehawk getting knocked out by a Shield Bearer. Tempest Mage going down from a Great Hunter. Holy cow. The action does not stop from this point on. Strap in, because it is going to be a roller coaster, ladies and gentlemen.
Indeed, indeed. Now, it may look like Aurelia is kind of, what you call it, like a bird among the pigeons. However, they do have the High Priests still there to give healing. Now, is there a chance?
Exactly.
Is there a shout to give the Tefid Fletcher to give sort of like a hook shot to pull Aurelia further, closer, which would pull her out of range from the High Priest?
I think that could be worth it, ultimately. I really do. Especially since that would pull her within range of the Deepwood Enchantress for a Beguile next round. That's very much within the realm of potentiality. Another problem that Dex is having with this Aurelia is the Worm Scale Mail. This is giving Aurelia +1 health and armor 1. This gives her 1 less damage from sources of physical attacks and 6 total health. Healing Potion to heal her back up, Demon Tooth Dagger, and Short Sword for even more power. This is a very scary unit. Let's not pretend otherwise.
Yeah, no, indeed, absolutely. And like I said, there's a very quick flurry of exchanges then between both players, and now it's kind of the dust is slowly settling, which you often see in chess matches, right? You often see people take pieces go very quickly, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, that's played out now. Now it's back to the drawing board. How am I going to outwit my opponent with this next set of plays?
Exactly. You see this a lot in strategy games against high-level players that are seeing multiple moves ahead, right? So you'll see both players sit and think on their clock a lot and think about, okay, if I take this piece, he takes this piece, he takes this. And if both players see that and are comfortable with that exchange ultimately, which I think both players were, then it's an exchange that's going to shake out.
Indeed.
Because if we look at the gold that's been captured on both sides, we see a total of 17 from Dex and a total of 21 from Laro. The difference between 17 and 21 is only about 5 gold. It's not that big of a difference. If I was Laro overall, I would be relatively okay with this exchange. The Ultra Knight wasn't my only win condition if I'm playing as Laro. Battering Ram is. But Ursa Major was definitely part of Dex's core strategy. It was one of the few units that could actually take hits from the Battering Ram, Ultra Knight, and Aurelia and keep on kicking. So capturing that, I think, was very key.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Interesting. Well, would you find it interesting that Battering Ram didn't come forward on or advance on that play, or would you think he's just keeping him safe for now? It's only round 2. Keep his health up, or keep their health up, and then move it forwards when the time's right.
Yeah, definitely round 2. Keep the Battering Ram crew nice and healthy. Keep them happy. They're cool hanging back in the deployment zone and just playing keep away with these hunters. Overall, I think moving wouldn't have been bad, but keeping it back's not bad either.
Yep.
And something that happened while we were doing the analysis is that High Priest has been silenced.
Yep.
For players that may just be joining us in this series, Silence is an ability that prevents Priest from using any of its active abilities. So no Blessing and no Dispelling for High Priest during this round. That is, honestly, a pretty good way to make sure that Aurelia doesn't get her health back up once those arrows start flying into her.
Indeed, indeed. And the silence coming from the Northfang Sorcerer as well. So just in case you're wondering where it came from, the Northfang Sorcerer has 4 range on Hush, which is the silence ability that it can use.
Oh my gosh, Northfang Sorcerer is incredibly good, and, you know, I'm not really surprised to see Dex using Silence. He and I, we've been talking a lot recently, we hang out, and we talk strategy a lot in Legacies of Allure, and the other day he said to me that Silence is one of the best abilities in the game.
Yep. I actually
honestly, I kind of agree with that.
Yeah, I watched his video. Dex put a video out about how it breaking down, like, the ranking the debuffs and buffs in Legacy's Law, and Silence was right up there, S tier.
Yeah, that's right. Dex's tier list. Definitely go check that video out. It was really cool. Really appreciated that he made that.
Indeed, indeed. Do you know what? I'll link the video in the description below. So if you're interested to see some Dex content, then there's worse things to do. Trust me. Go down and watch that, and it's a nice tier list to check out, especially if you're new to the game, to understand. He really breaks down the different buffs and debuffs. But anyway, I'm waffling as always. Let's get back to the game here, because stuff is about to go down. I feel it's starting to.
Oh,
the pot is simmering over.
The stuff is already going down. Priest. This is actually really cool, and this is one of the reasons why I like to take 2 priests, because the priests can support each other, as we just saw. The priest that was farther away from the center, farther away from Aurelia, and farther away from the action, removed the silence debuff from the High Priest. So this means that the High Priest can actually, you know, do what he needs to do. If Aurelia starts taking damage, High Priest can heal it off. Just good moves, you know, just good moves all around.
Indeed, absolutely. So there's still a pretty terrifying wall of units down there next to Aurelia, which can still push a lot of damage. And with the backstab and with the range, they wouldn't be taking retaliation off that short sword buff either. So it's a lot of damage there. But like you said, the High Priest can easily counter that.
That is one of the hypest moves of Untouchable I've ever seen.
There we go.
The priest is totally blocked in.
Yep.
Aurelia can't be healed this round.
Well, the hook shot, right? Because at the moment she's just out of range at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is just out of range at the moment. So Aurelia cannot be healed now, like you said, based on that Untouchable. So anyone wondering, Untouchable comes from the Deepwood Enchantress, and it means an enemy unit cannot move into or through the target hex. And Dex has chosen the target hex up here, which now means that is it. The High Priest is stuck in the corner. It's sat on the naughty step, and it's got to think about its actions before it does anything else next.
Yeah, absolutely. That is, oh man, that's so cool. I love seeing Deepwood Enchantress get used. It's a card that is used so rarely because of its high skill ceiling, but when I see, you know, just an absolute master of the game like Dex get it into his hands, it looks so cool.
Oh, wait. So she can still be healed, right? Because the Tactician can give +1 range? No, because it's not cast range, right?
No, but you know what the Tactician can do? he can give pathing
Of
to the High
course.
Priest.
Yes.
He can move his first shield bearer and have his High Priest walk around the other one.
Yes. So he can still... Tactician can get Priest off the naughty step and back into the good books.
Oh, that's really funny. Oh, I would love to see that. That would be the craziest use of Tactician ever.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Because so anyone wondering about the range doesn't work on the High Priest because it's not cast range. Now we see Tactician coming across and give him +1 power, which probably is the more sensible play.
Yeah, that makes way more sense.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Hey, I mean, I still think our play was fun. To be honest, you know, I think it was the way to go. I think it was the meta play. But you know, these guys are we won't flame on them too hard.
No. These guys are playing to win tonight. They aren't playing for the content. The thing is, Woody, is that with the two of us being, you know, 2-bit YouTubers and Twitch streamers out there, we're always playing for the content. That's why we don't win tournaments.
Yeah, that's. I mean, yeah. Let's take that on the chin, and yeah, I think you're completely right. There. I think you hit the nail on the head. I like that play. I like that play there. But Deepwood Sentinel, another card that I love in Sylvan. The movement ability, the maneuverability, is so good, and it coming in there and just kind of grabbing its little friend's hand, like, you know, seeing a classic 80s action movie, and it's like, you're not dying on my watch, and it grabs the Northfang Hunter and it pulls them out of the fire, and it swaps positions with them. That's the imagery I get every time Deepwood Sentinel is involved.
Deepwood Sentinel, really fun card. And this is interesting for Laro. He chooses not to use his shield bearers to take out the Deepwood Sentinel, and this is because Laro is down on gold. And if he were to use a shield bearer and his other shield bearer to take out the Deepwood Sentinel, he would be trading 3 gold for 3 gold, which right now isn't exactly worth it. Because, like I said, he's down on gold. And just like in chess, when you're down in value, in Legacy's Allure, trading is usually a bad option. So
Yep.
Laro, I think, is being really smart here and really careful.
Yep.
And making his plays correct. Laro just choosing to tap out, skip, and go first. Since he's going first, Aurelia is going to get to do whatever she needs to do, and either take out the Enchantress or the Bowmaster.
Yeah. And Northfang Hunter sneaking in at the end there to get rid of one of the Tempest Mages, which is another big threat card to get rid of it. Dex is... I love the way Dex is playing this game. I feel like they're almost tiptoeing around, and all of a sudden, bang, out of nowhere, like lurking up the shadows and just kind of destroying the Arangard units. I love the way Dex is playing this game. And just quickly kind of looking at the imagery in front of us now on the board, you can see how Arangard is so spread out, like that kind of V shape that you've almost mentioned in the past. And Sylvan are almost like an arrow. They're so narrow and kind of driving through the heart of that Arangard defense, which is really cool to see.
We're seeing both. We're seeing how playstyles differ between factions.
Oh!
Yes! Kyle! Aurelia is Dex's to command!
Oh, there we go.
Oh no!
Deepwood Enchantress throwing too many cookies at Aurelia. Aurelia cannot resist the cookies, and she is taking those. And now, for this turn and this round, she will be a Sylvan unit.
Yeah. Oh no. This could be really bad for Laro. With stealing an action of the hero and just throwing it down the board away from his units. He's pulling a... Oh, I see. Dex is thinking about moving Aurelia into a kill zone with the High Priest down. If he brings Aurelia into range of his Norfane Sorcerer, his Hunters, and his Tethir Bowmaster, he could potentially take her out. So he's just choosing to skip with Aurelia, just taking that action away from Laro and keeping Aurelia in the kill zone. That's kind of genius, honestly.
Yeah, and Halberdier coming in and getting rid of that Northfang Hunter in there as well. This is such an even, tight game. We saw Battering Ram coming through as well, and creeping its way closer to that Center Hex, which is where it wants to be. Center Hex is the golden place for back.
There's just too much excitement right now.
Yeah, you know, you're finishing my sentences, I'm finishing your sentences. It's like Harry Met Sally all over again.
Oh, ooh, Aurelia is within kill range of the Tethyr Bowmaster. Now, people at home might be saying, wait, doesn't Tethyr Bowmaster only have 3 power? Well, Tethyr Bowmaster can increase its power to 4 and reduce its range by 1. 2 range is still enough to deal 4 power. But then, wait, you say. Aurelia has armor, so she would only take 3 of the 4 damage. But that's where Tethyr Fletcher comes in with its piercing ability, giving Tethyr Bowmaster the ability to ignore armor, and that is Aurelia off the board.
That is an Ultra Knight gone, an Aurelia gone. Now just a battering ram to deal with, and whew, this is incredibly tense now.
But with Deepwood Enchantress almost out of mana, she can't even like beguile the battering ram at the end of the 7th round and go for the win. Nothing like that.
No,
it's going to be tough.
It's going to be hard. That battering ram is the card now to try and deal with, right? The cards try and somehow. So I mean, they do have silence, right? They still have the silence, which would remove. It wouldn't remove the armor, but it removes the ability, the ram ability, right?
Right.
So
there's still silence and still break. Like Norfane Sorcerer could remove the battering ram's armor or its ram ability for a round, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. The only real attacking power that Dex has as the Sylvan player is Ursa Minor for 3 physical damage.
Yeah.
It's going to be really hard to...
And deep down in the on the battlefield, those priests still have a lot of mana to their name. So despite throwing out as much damage as you possibly want in a battle ram, it can still be healed up by the High Priest. But now Ursa Minor kind of threatening that priest, saying, hey, you know, I'm still here, dude. I am here, and you better be careful next turn, otherwise I am eating you alive.
Yep. This is so interesting and so exciting for me to watch. It's going to come down to, can Laro keep his priests alive into the 7th round? Because if Laro can pull that off, I don't know if Dex can kill this battering ram. That's the trick here. If those priests live to the 6th or 7th round, I think that battering ram is unkillable.
Oh, and I was seeing Norfane Hunter coming in probably for the kill, right?
Norfane Hunter coming in to take out the priest.
Oh,
the High Priest specifically.
Having a think about it, because I mean, at the moment, right, I guess High Priest is tapped. It's not an immediate threat. Like, is there anything else we can deal with while it's tapped?
And I think that's what Dex is thinking about. Yeah. And you're exactly correct. And this is a bit of a high level concept here. So anybody who's looking to like up their game, this is absolutely the game to watch. Because it's so tempting to take that High Priest right now with the Hunter, right? It's free, it's there, nothing's threatening it. But if you do that, you're losing tempo.
Yeah.
You need to be looking to see, okay, that High Priest is going to be there, it's going to be mine to capture with this Hunter, and there's nothing my opponent can do about it. So what is a more proactive thing I can be doing right now? Should I be throwing down an untouchable? Should I be silencing something?
Oh,
right, exactly.
Oh, there we go.
He's going for the silence on the priest, which I think is really smart. This means both of the priests are disabled for this round. Dex might be able to pull something off here. Yeah,
and we know probably that I'd be very surprised that High Priest doesn't get taken by Norfane Hunter later down the line this round. But for now, we know both priests are out. That is it. They're done for.
Absolutely. Wait.
Yeah, the piercing, yeah. So
that's 2 damage in from the Tethyr Bowmaster. No, Dex is changing his mind. He's changing his mind on that. I think he's going to wait until that battering ram's a little bit closer, and he can get some more damage on.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Now, here's one thing. Oh, never mind. Battering ram can't be moved by enemy effects. I was thinking
hook shot.
Pulling.
Yeah.
Yeah, hook shot for a second, but no, that can't even. Not only is it a bad move, I'm going to be honest, it's not even a move that works well at all. So
yeah. There we go. Northang Hunter coming in and doing that, and then +1 movement to the
classic
tactician running away.
Self-movement.
Hey,
Yep.
we may have a new squire on our hands here. Tactician may be the new squire at this rate. Like, really keeping up there. Like, rocking in the... Tactician could win this. All he's got to do is be in the golden hex at the end of round 7.
That's right. That's how he wins. But you know, honestly, I think the squire that we saw take the center hex during a really smart center capture, that's the squire that's going to be promoted to tactician, not one of the knights. Watch my words on that one. That's my prediction. I'm seeing a promoted to tactician.
We knew it was going to do a good move because it's a squire. The squire doesn't do a bad move. Like, no matter who's piloting it, squire doesn't do bad moves.
Just drag 18 squires, you'll be fine. I promise.
That's it. Yep, against 5 black dragons because you're a nasty human being.
5 black dragons, hilarious. But back to the game.
Yeah.
It's Laro's move. We're seeing Dex do some healing on his sorcerer. Anwyn, you know, and this really goes to show the difference in heroes, right? Aurelia was such an important piece this game because of the gold investment. Laro wanted his hero to be super important and super vital. Anwyn hasn't been doing a whole lot, and that's because, well, only 4 gold was invested in her. She has the same value as a Northane Hunter, and that's the value she's providing. And that's something I do think is really, really neat about Legacy's Allure. Your hero is exactly the piece you want it to be.
Yep.
And that's always fun for me.
Exactly. Absolutely. And this is now getting to, I feel like, I don't want to say the next mistake because that's negative. I don't want to say, oh, the next person make a mistake will possibly lose the game. But I think the next person to outwit their opponent, I feel like this game is one key move away from being pushed in someone's favor. Because at the moment it's literally on a knife edge. And it's now that kind of cat and mouse. Who's going to make the mistake? Who can manipulate their opponent thinking they're going to do something, but they're going to do something different or whatever else? It's going to be really, really interesting to see.
I could not agree more, Woody.
Get there.
Laro chooses to go first. He's gonna grab that go first.
Yep.
It's all down to Dex. What's Dex want to do? I think he could just move. Yeah, he's just gonna move away from the battering ram. You know, why deal with it now when he can deal with it at range using his Tethir Bowmaster? I think it's smart.
Yep, agreed. And there we go. All tapped out there. Going into round 5. Pretty even on the clocks. Pretty even on the battlefield. And the Halberdier saw an opportunity. Saw his name in lights. And he ran for that center hex.
And I do really think that's a good play. I honestly do. Very smart because Halberdier has Steadfast. Which means that Ursa Minor cannot charge that Halberdier and take it off the board. Dex is going to have to deal with it in some other way.
Yeah.
And I don't really think he does right now.
No, I mean, he could take the Teth Bowmaster, right? And give it the +1 power and the -1 range to do the 4 damage. But that would take an action away from dealing damage to the battering ram, right?
Exactly. And that's kind of the issue here of we're getting down to the last few rounds. We're getting really close. And if that battering ram can capture center in round 7 and is at full health, it's straight up game. There's no other way to there's no two bones about it.
So if in round 6, right? If in round 6, battering ram is 1 hex away and is then in round 7 is then silenced opening turn, does Dex kind of win because Laro can't actually move stuff off center?
I think so, and I kind of think Dex is going for something cheeky here that I'm not sure Laro sees. Take a look at Deepwood Enchantress's Untouchable. If Dex gets to go first in round 7 with Untouchable, he can make the center hex untouchable. No one can move into it, right?
Yeah.
And because Dex went second, all he has to do is keep Laro away from the center in order to win.
Oh, this is getting so... Oh, this is nuts. This is boiling down to the wire.
Right now is skip.
Yeah.
But he doesn't see it.
Oh, So we're gonna silence or break. So probably break, I'd assume. Oh, are we?
Or silence.
I assume break. Oh, we're not gonna break. Has he seen
We're
it?
not going to do it. All Dex has to do is skip.
There you go.
He saw it.
He's seen it. He's seen the play. Yeah, he skipped.
If he skips here, he wins. There's nothing Laro can do. Deepwood Enchantress wins the game.
Oh, this is insane. This is actually insane right now. And we see the full skip.
He's doing it. This is
And he's
it. He goes
opening.
first.
There we go. The untouchable in center hex.
That's
Oh! There we go. That is it. That is it.
He pushes Ursa Major off, but he can't move into center.
Oh.
It's over.
Yeah.
Deepwood Enchantress. Because Laro ignored that Deepwood Enchantress, you know, earlier in round two or three, he had an option. He had a chance to take the Deepwood Enchantress with Aurelia, and he didn't do it.
No. And there we go.
In the game.
That is
There
the
it
game right there. Wow. Wow. What a game. What a finish that was. I mean, I'll be honest, I did not see that play. You saw it before the Dex saw it, but it's let's not take anything from Dex. It's easy to see it when you're not playing, right? It's easy when you're not watching it. It's easy to see it. Dex saw it, and then you saw the skipping. It was almost like you saw the penny drop. About to break the battering ram, and all of a sudden he was like, oh, wait a minute, and then that was it. What a game of Blitz! What a game of Legacy's Law! Oh, I need a drink.
Yeah, me too. It was just amazing to see both players pushing each other to the edge of a cliff. And in that situation, even the lightest breeze can feel like a hurricane.
Yep.
And that's exactly what that final mana on Deepwood Enchantress was. It was that last little breeze that just knocked Laro off the edge and let Dex take the win. What an awesome game.
Indeed. What a game. Well, that's it, guys. That's been another fantastic week of Blitz Brawl. Another fantastic game for you. A massive thank you to Dex and Laro for joining us tonight and giving such great entertainment. A massive thank you to Mr. Robo for being here and providing, as always, such wonderful analysis. And an even bigger thank you to you guys for rocking up and giving up an hour of your time, or almost an hour of your time, to indulge in a really cracking game of Blitz Legacy's Law. Be sure to check out the draft video that's coming up in a couple of days' time as well. But until next time, guys, have a great day, morning, evening, whatever it is, wherever you guys are. Until then, goodbye.